This video I've watched like 3 times in a row, okay? And it's called Female Behavior in the Final Days of a Decaying Society. And it's really sort of makes sense to me. And it really comes to support the notion, for me at least, that we're sort of on the way down here with all of this Western civilization stuff. Okay, so this is a video by Psy Crypt, and it's really good. And I recommend that you watch the full video. I'm not going to show you the full video. I'm just going to comment a little bit on it. Okay, Nietzsche. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be the lonely orphan and sometimes frightened, but no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Okay? If you think Nietzsche is a G, guys, aspire to own yourself. Okay? And that means having integrity. That means being attuned with who you are, as in, like, your ancestry makes you who you are. And being a man means being really strong spiritually, having a strong spirit, not in the sort of religious sense, but having drive and being able to power through, trudge through all the BS, which there's plenty of. So let's see this video.
What if I told you that the playbook for female behavior in our own collapsing society was written a century ago?
All right, he does say female behavior, but I will say that this is more like female behavior is more for the attention, but honestly, it's about the bigger picture, as in how what the adaptation looks like when things are falling apart. What do people do essentially?
The smoke-filled cabarets and crumbling banks of the Weimar Republic. This is not a history lesson. This is a diagnostic tool.
Okay, the Weimar Republic is Germany in the early 19th century. They had a huge problem where their economy basically tanked and their money became completely worthless. So much so that people used the money as wallpaper because it was useless, basically. And they had so much of it because it was so hyperinflated. You had to have tons and tons of it.
Within the next minutes, you will witness a mirror held up to our own time, a reflection so precise and so unsettling that it will forever change how you view the world around you. By understanding this blueprint, you will gain the one thing every man in a dying era desperately seeks: the power of foresight, the ability to see the coming storms not
Guys, are we in a dying era? Yes or no? Yes or no in the
as
comments.
chaos, but as a predictable sequence of events, and the clarity to navigate them without being destroyed.
Before we begin, if you're serious about personal growth, not just the comforting lies, but the brutal, unvarnished truth, then you'll find real value in my ebook, The Black Book of Human Nature. It's a practical world more.
Let us transport you to Berlin, 1923. But forget the grainy black and white footage you've seen. You need to feel this. Imagine you're a young man. Let's call him Klaus. You fought in the Great War. You came home to a hero's welcome that lasted about a week. Now you're an accountant. You're a man of numbers, of order, of logic. This morning, you received your monthly salary. It was 5 billion marks, a staggering sum.
Let's try to draw a parallel. You're Frank in 2025 in America and you just came back from deployment and you have a salary that you thought was going to be all right, you know, but you come back and you see that things have gotten like twice the price in the time you've been gone. So it's not as bad as what's going on with Klaus here, but it's getting there, isn't it? It's getting there.
Your wife, Greta, was overjoyed. You decided, wisely, to immediately buy groceries for the week. You walked to the bakery. The loaf of bread that cost 1 billion marks when you passed the shop window an hour ago is now 3 billion. Your entire salary, clutched in your trembling hand, is now worthless. The numbers on the page, the logic you built your life upon, have been annihilated. This is the hyperinflation. This is the moment the ground gives way. And this is the precise moment the Weimar blueprint begins to unfold. The first stage is what we call the Great Deregulation. When the tangible value of a man's work, his money, becomes a joke, the entire framework of his value collapses. A man
Guys, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and all of your money was worthless? All of your fiat currency was completely useless. What would you do? Would you be screwed?
is no longer a provider, he is a relic. And in this vacuum, a new set of rules emerges, dictated not by duty or tradition, but by a frantic, survivalist impulse. This was quantified in a chilling study by economist J.M. Keynes, who was in Berlin during this period. He didn't just study economics, he studied human behavior. He documented the rise of what he called the velocity of life. People, especially women, understood that to pause was to perish. The old model of a long-term pair bond, of saving for the future, was not just impractical, it was suicidal. Why marry
Does that sound similar? Does that ring a bell? Does that sound like maybe what's happening now?
the stable, dependable clerk when his life savings couldn't buy a cup of coffee tomorrow? The currency of male value shifted overnight from stability to immediate utility. This gave rise to the iconic figure of the Weimar era, the Nutzfriend, or benefit friend.
Friends with benefits, side piece. It's kind of similar, no? It's kind of like maybe something that's going on nowadays, isn't it? It's kind of like women behave differently depending on how much resources are available, isn't it?
He wasn't a husband. He wasn't even a long-term boyfriend. He was the man who could provide right now. The army officer who could get you coal, the black marketeer with a tin of ham, the foreigner with hard currency. Women, conditioned for millennia to seek security, were now biologically compelled to seek the opposite.
So before it was giving yourself away for some coal, now it's what? You get monopoly money for naked pictures on the internet, I suppose would be the equivalent.
Hypergamous velocity. They had to trade up and quickly, not for a better life in 10 years, but for a meal tonight. This is not a moral failing. This is a Darwinian adaptation to economic absurdity.
That sounds a whole lot like right now because right now people are thinking, how do I make it till tomorrow? Like, what am I doing now? Like, what are you talking about saving for? What are you talking about pension, retirement? Like, what? I have multiple friends who say what that they don't even plan to be alive when they're retired. What do you mean retired, bro?
Can you see the parallels? When a man's degree is devalued by a saturated market, when his salary is eroded by inflation he cannot control, when his traditional role is mocked by the culture, he experiences his own form of hyperinflation. His social currency is melting away.
Now, let's make this visceral. Let's talk about Greta, Klaus's wife. For months, she watched Klaus grow more sullen, more defeated. The numbers in his ledger, once a source of pride, were now a source of mockery. Then she met Franz.
You know, guys, you've heard this story before. I know you have. And if you're interested, please go check out this video. It's really good. And I promise you're not going to regret it. I'm not going to spoil any more of it for you. because I know that you need to see this in whole. The video, this is the name, clearly. And I believe that there are historical parallels here. And I can see it. I can see it in real life. This is clearly happening. And you just gotta make it through. You just gotta make it through to the other end of this, what was in the video referenced to as economic absurdity, because we're not living in reality anymore. They call it the Matrix for a reason, and the reason is it's a sort of it's it's not the real world. The economy is not the real world. It's an environment that's been so manipulated and so, dare I say, bastardized, that it doesn't even make sense. It's borderline psychotic right now. It's not even it doesn't even make sense to me, and I hate it. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize my channel. So please subscribe. See you.